Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Sam Hossack Media Podcast. Two special guests on today, and let's get to introducing them. Our first guest just completed her first season with the Minnesota State Mavericks. She was a three-sport athlete in high school and was the Mavs Rookie of the Year. Please welcome number 18, Jamie Nelson. And our second guest just completed her second season with the Mavs, shared the Mavs scoring title this season with 8 goals, and was the 3-star award winner. Please welcome number 20, Kelsey King. Now we're going to jump right into things here. You guys were both multi-sport athletes in high school. Take us through the sports that you guys played and what kind of led to this decision of playing multiple sports.
I played tennis and lacrosse along with hockey in high school, and I decided to do it because I thought that it'd be fun to be in other sports besides hockey because I take it so seriously. It's my main sport, and it'd be fun to unwind with other sports and just be able to make new friends outside of the hockey community.
Yeah, so I played tennis in high school as well, and it was kind of something that some of my friends were doing, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. Kind of hopped in. The first year I really liked it, so then I decided to do another year, and it was super nice to have that cross between hockey and having another sport that was kind of just fun, and we were still competitive, obviously, when it came to it, but it was just nice to have a break and to have something else that you could do that you could have fun with as well.
Now, the Minnesota High School Hockey Tournament is one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Just take us through being able to attend that and how much of an honor it is for your schools.
That was one of the best times of my life. It was so fun to be able to represent the Andover community alongside with best friends that you played with since your favorite moments just in life, not even hockey, but overall. It was really, really fun, and we set a record for attendance. I think there were 6,000 people there, so it was awesome to see how big the girls' game has grown and seeing that we have people interested and the community is behind us.
Yeah, so Jamie was in my conference in high school, so we had to get through Andover in order to make it to the state tournament, and we never ended up making it there, but we made it to section finals quite a bit with them, and Forest Lake was kind of like our other rival in all of it, but it was so fun. I would still go and watch because I love the atmosphere and the hockey at the state tournament. It's the best time of the year, whether you're playing or whether you're watching, because it's just such a cool, like Jamie said, how many people come to those games, and it just brings the whole state of Minnesota together for the state high school hockey tournament.
Now, Jamie, you finished your high school career as a Minnesota Class 2A state tournament champion. Talk about just winning that title and how much it meant.
It meant a lot. My freshman year in high school, we were less than 50% win percentage. So it was awesome to see the growth of our program going from less than 50% to winning the state title and only having 2 losses on the year. It was just incredible that I could do that with, awesome players beside me. And, I'll never forget that feeling when the clock ticked down and we were finally state champions. It was unbelievable, and I just, it's indescribable.
Now, Kelsey, you were a 4-time letter winner in hockey and 2-time letter winner in tennis. Talk to us about winning those and how much those meant to you.
Yeah, so hockey, obviously, I love playing hockey since I started in about 3rd grade, and it was really, high school was what I dreamed of. I watched all those girls play, and so to finally play with some of them and to be at that stage and then go through the same process they went through, and by my senior year being able to have the success but also have such great teammates beside me was really cool. and being able to learn how to be a leader both on the ice and then off the ice and through tennis as well. I think that was like really cool too, because I got to meet other girls and create kind of different relationships on the tennis court versus the relationships I had with some of my teammates on the hockey rink.
Now, is there a sport you guys didn't play in high school that you wish you had of?
I don't think I have any regrets with the sports that I chose. I almost played soccer, but I played that up until 7th grade and ended up quitting. I just didn't really want to go back to it, but I had a lot of fun with tennis and lacrosse. I think it was the right fit.
Yeah, I always thought that I would maybe get into lacrosse. There was multiple times where I was back and forth between should I do it or should I not? And I never ended up doing it, but I had a lot of friends. Like, it was common for hockey players in high school to also play lacrosse. That was a really common thing that we saw, and so that was kind of an urge for them to try and get me to join with them. But I never got to it. And then track too was something that I always thought was really cool, just in terms of like a good way to stay in shape in the off season, that's for sure. Because when I watch them run, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I keep up with them, but that would have been fun, I feel like, especially because there's so many people involved in it too.
Now we'll transition into Minnesota. Take us through the process of committing to Minnesota State, and at what point did you know it was a school for you?
I think my commitment process was a little different than other girls because I wasn't a standout player in my freshman and sophomore year of high school, so my recruiting started my junior year, and a lot of girls my age had already committed then. So, I started talking with schools, but a lot of them didn't have spots open, and I ultimately chose Mankato because the distance from my house and the size of the school, and also I have a sister on the volleyball team, so I would just have like family around. I think it was a great fit, coaching staff, all of that. I'm glad that I ended up here, but it was definitely a different recruiting process for me than for some of my friends.
Yep, I committed my sophomore year, so before Jamie. And it was kind of a weird how it works. I feel like, I mean, for some people, everyone has a different experience, but a lot came all at once and it was kind of overwhelming. And it was like, okay, well, this is where I'm going to be for 4 years. So I wanted to be very careful about what I decided because I'm like, this is really important to me. And a lot of people had said, oh, you'll know. As soon as you get there, like, you'll know the place for you. And that's how I felt with Mankato. I toured them a little bit later, and I just knew it was a place for me. I really liked the coaches there, and the girls, and the vicinity to home, because it's about 2 hours away from my home as well. And yeah, I just knew it was it, and I wanted to go somewhere where I knew I'd get some good coaching and have a chance to really be a leader and grow as a player as well.
Now take us through both your NCAA first games. Who are they against, and how did they go?
My first game was against Duluth this year, and it was very different because of COVID. For our pre-practice or pre-game practice, we actually had a girl get COVID, so we didn't even know if we were going to be able to play. So there was a lot of anxiety around that for me, a lot of questions, but it ended up where we were able to play, which was awesome. And, I was just really nervous. I didn't know what to expect, and it was a lot faster than high school. It took me a couple of shifts to get acclimated, but it was really fun to be out there, and it was kind of shocking. I was just like looking around. I'm like, I'm really playing college hockey right now. Like, it was surreal.
Yeah, my first game was against RPI my freshman year. And so it was a road trip, which was kind of fun because it was a really good opportunity, of course, before COVID times, so we could travel and on a plane and didn't have to worry about things. But it was a really good chance to get to know the girls and kind of get close as a team and test ourselves in our first game together. And It went really well. It was super fun. I was nervous. I was so nervous. I remember our coach coming up and saying, "It's okay, Kelsey, like, you're going to be fine. Like, don't worry." But I just remember during the anthem, like, my palms were sweating already, and, I had the shakes a little bit. But once you get going, just like Jamie said, you're like, wow, I'm actually doing it. I'm playing college hockey. This was my dream, and it's such a surreal experience.
Now, obviously, Jamie's first season was during the COVID year that you guys had this year, so we'll let her take us through what a normal game day looked like this year, and then Kelsey can take us through a game day in a non-COVID year.
So during COVID year, we usually have antigen testing early in the morning. So those results come back within 10 minutes. So everyone would get tested. We'd sit in the locker room, wait for our results. Hopefully everyone's negative. And then we'd have a team breakfast. And then about 1 to 2 hours of downtime where we could go home and then get dressed for the game. And we have to be there 2 hours early, just do our own warm-up until team warm-up, tape sticks, all that good stuff. And then just get ready for on-ice warm-ups, and then it's game time.
So, yes, that was kind of similar to what we would do in a regular year, but Jamie missed out on the Weggies this year. We used to go on campus, go to Weggies before games, especially in home series, and they would just like have a women's hockey tab, and we would all go and eat at the restaurant, which obviously now when we have our breakfast, they're catered in to our rink, and because we don't want to risk exposure, especially on the day of a game. But before, we would all go to eat at a restaurant, and then we'd have the same kind of – we wouldn't get tested, obviously, which is so weird now. But we'd kind of do the same routine. You go home, have some downtime, come back. Everyone kind of has their own little routine. You get your warm-ups, off-ice warm-ups, on-ice warm-ups, hit the ice, same exact thing. The only thing that was really different, I would say, was the meals, and then kind of like the testing, obviously, and then after games we would typically see our parents, and this year we didn't really get to see our parents a lot after games until the end of the season. But before, it would be like you see your parents, you go out to dinner with your parents after the games.
Now, for both you scored your first NCAA goals, who were they against, and what was kind of going through your head?
My first goal was against St. Cloud this year in November, and it was off a face-off circle. I think Claire Budarak won it back to me, and I just ripped a shot. Not much was going through my head. My dad told me before the game that I just need to shoot pucks, and I don't even think I looked at the net. I just flashed, "Is it in?" And then all my teammates swarmed me, so I knew I scored, and it was an amazing feeling.
So my first goal actually didn't count because it was in 3-on-3 overtime my freshman year, and so they didn't count those this year. I think they were counting them, but the following year they didn't count them as goals because it was not in regular intermission. But my first one, my non-official first one, was against Bemidji in 3-on-3 overtime, which was obviously a super cool way to score your quote-unquote first goal. They all said in the locker room, well, we can't really give you your puck because technically it doesn't count as a real goal. But we kind of all knew it in our hearts, and at the end of the year, when it was kind of funny because my first goal actually was against Merrimack, which was a non-conference game, which we didn't get to really play many of those this year, but it was a really cool feeling, obviously, again, but, in our hearts, we kind of knew when my first goal had been, but yeah, again, such a cool experience.
Now, you both are from Minnesota, so we're going to have some Minnesota history questions here. So, which city is the capital of Minnesota?
What's the capital, did you say?
Yeah.
St. Paul.
Now, which Great Lake surrounds Minnesota?
Kelsey got this one.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to go again.
Lake Superior.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay. My history is really good. If you guys couldn't already tell.
Now, what was the name of the NHL team in Minnesota before the Wild?
Oh, the North Stars.
Yeah. Now, what are
That was
the
quick.
five,
I got that one.
5 largest cities in Minnesota?
Oh gosh.
St. Paul.
Minneapolis.
Yep. Those two. Edina.
Um,
Is that one of them?
No.
I was gonna-
Edina's pretty big, but I guess it kind of blends with Minneapolis.
Rochester.
Yep. 2 more.
Duluth.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more.
One more, Kels. I think you need to figure out.
I mean, you took the easy ones. Didn't have my thinking cap on today. So, okay, well, we did north. Duluth is north. Rochester's south. And we did Minneapolis. You said St. Paul was one of them. What could be? Do you know, Jamie?
No, maybe Stillwater? I don't know.
Well, I feel like those are in the general area on the.
You might have to give this one to us.
Yeah.
Bloomington.
Oh, what?
Oh, who's gonna do that?
Huh.
Now, which 2 major cities are the closest to Mankato?
Rochester's pretty close. No?
Yeah, Rochester and Minneapolis.
From the Minnesota website I'm going off of, it's Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Huh. I think Rochester would be a. Huh. I guess, more you know.
Now, how many lakes are in Minnesota?
100.
More than 10,000.
10,000. Oh, I was going to say, I hope this isn't recording, but this is a recording. So now you have this down that Kelsey doesn't know our history.
The official number from that Minnesota website is 11,842.
Jeez. A lot of lakes.
Yep.
Now, we'll get into some fun questions about your teammates here. Who's the messiest girl on the team?
Oh.
For sure, Ellen.
Yep. I was gonna say we could give it to House 103 too, if we're saying a group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely Ellen, her stall.
Yeah. Her clothes are always everywhere.
Now, who runs the music in the dressing room, and is it good or bad?
It's usually Brooke Bryant. She does pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say she does a good job. She gets a good variety in there.
Yeah.
Loudest in the room and on the ice?
Oh, for sure, loudest on and off the ice is Danny England.
Yep. I was going to say the same
really loud voice.
Yeah, you can hear from the bench, clearly all the time when you're out there.
Now, obviously, the last year, everyone's kind of gotten into TikTok in quarantine and stuff. So who's the best and worst TikToker on the Minnesota team?
Amy might have to speak for this one because I don't really do TikTok.
I'd say worst is probably, that's hard. I'd say if she made TikToks, Britt would probably be the worst.
Yep.
She's not a very good dancer.
Yeah, she's not very coordinated. I'd say, though, Danny might be the best because I remember last year she did it pregame, was doing a TikTok. before every game.
Now, most likely to forget something on an overnight trip.
Bobber.
Gotta be
Anybody.
Bob.
She lost
I
her
think she
AirPods.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Every
20.
single trip she'd be on the bus like, guys, does anyone see my AirPods? Or does anyone see my charger? Just every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Best and worst video game player on the team.
I don't really play video games.
Bobber plays phone video games all the time. She's always got some new game that she's playing on her phone, but in terms of like Xbox or like PlayStation, I don't think anyone really has one.
Mm-mm.
Now we'll get into some fan questions here. One was Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Domino's. Yep.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes. How is it not, Kels?
It's a hot dog. I feel like it's a category of its own.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I could see where you're going with it though, because it's bread and meat in a bun. But I feel like I wouldn't be like, hey, can I have a sandwich that's a hot dog? But it could be, just depends on what you put on your sandwich.
Now, a couple of questions here for Kelsey. Had to reach out to someone that she knows really well, Maddie Wethington from Minnesota Golden Gophers. She's asked, heard you're a big gamer in the past. What are you playing right now?
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was going to say earlier. I have my Xbox at school, but I just haven't swept the dust off of it in a while. But I was huge on Fortnite, actually. When I would come home on the weekends, I'd go over to my friend Izzy Daniels' house. She played for Blake with Maddie. That's how Maddie knows about it, is because I'd go over there and have like LAN parties with her, and we play Fortnite like all night long. I really like Fortnite, and then like Call of Duty Zombies. I really like that too. And if I had time this year, trust me, I would be playing all the time, but I made myself take a little break for a while.
And the other question Maddie asked is, how many solo dubs do you have on Fortnite?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty proud of those. I think I have like 5. I like to say that I'm really good, but a lot of times I just like hide in a bush and wait till like I'm in the last like final 3, and then I try and see what I can do from there. My friends have gotten progressively better, but I just kind of just didn't put a lot of work into it. So I'd kind of let them carry me, and then I'd kind of wait till the end and get the final shots in.
Now, a question here for Jenna. What made you choose the number 18?
I wanted to choose number 10, and I'm actually switching to that next year. But 18 is just one of the available numbers. It didn't really have any meaning to me.
And then our final one here for Kelsey. Did you have any other offers besides Minnesota State?
Yeah, like I said, the recruiting process, kind of like a lot of things came your way, and there was a lot of few schools out east, and obviously like looking at schools to stay closer to home. I had looked at the Gophers. That was kind of one of my final 2 were kind of Mankato and the Gophers in terms of being closer to home. And I talked to Bemidji here and there, and a few schools out east, but the ones I was serious about were the U and Mankato.
Now, next year, the Olympics are coming back. So if you guys were on the selection committee for USA Hockey for men's and women's, who are some of the people you choose?
Might be a little controversial, but I would definitely pick Taylor Heisey. I think she's a really good all-around player, defensively and offensively. Obviously, like Hillary Knight, Kendall Corn, all the old-timers, they would definitely be coming back. That's about it. That's about all I got.
Yeah, I would say all the older girls for sure, because they've just created such a great name for USA Hockey and for themselves through the program, and obviously what they did the last year of the Olympics when they had won gold. Like, I would want all of them back for sure. That's so cool. And then I would say yes, Taylor Heisey. She's a great player as well. And I'd say for sure Grace Zumwinkle. I really look up to Grace Zumwinkle a lot, and I like to watch her game, and learn things from her because I really like her shooting, her quickness, her strength. I really admire a lot of her game. So I feel like her for sure. And then, yeah, even too, some of the younger girls that they have coming up are pretty good. Like, I think that Hannah Bilbka, I think that she's got a good chance. I don't know about this year, depending on I don't know how much room they have on the team in terms of new players to come in, but I think she's quite a skilled player out there in Boston College.
Now, if you guys were to choose some guys on the men's team, who would you kind of go with?
NHL players can't be in it, right?
I think this upcoming year they are. I'm not too sure, but I think they're looking at bringing them back.
Well, for sure, Cole Caulfield and Trevor Zegras. Matt Boldy did pretty good in the Worlds. I'd pick him. And that's who I know.
I know, I was going to say this one's kind of tough. I mean, I watch guys hockey, but not enough to be able to, analyze it down to the T, but I know Cole Caulfield, quite the player, obviously, what he did at Wisconsin this year, and then Trevor as well. And then kind of just watching, some of even the college tournament, I really like some of those guys from UMass. I think they had that one guy that he was out with COVID, but he was quite the player. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What was his name?
Yeah, I think his name was Carson.
Yeah,
something.
Carson Jasevich.
Yeah, he's quite the player.
Yeah, I know he just signed in the AHL with Rockford, so he's gonna be able to finish his year there. But obviously, men's and women's hockey in the States should be shown fairly. Up here in Canada, where I'm from, they were showing on the network that's equivalent to ESPN. They showed the Frozen Four for the women's, and then they showed the regional and Frozen Four for the men's. So, what do you guys think as NCAA athletes? They can kind of do more for women's hockey?
In my opinion, I think hockey is one of the more fair sports in terms of men's and women's. We get pretty much the same opportunities. A couple of years ago, they wouldn't have even put the Final Four women's on ESPN, so I think that's a huge step just to have those games on. I think for right now, that's, a good call to keep those on ESPN. I don't know about the quarterfinals, but we just don't have that much of a viewing as the men's, so I understand it. But it's just awesome that we get the opportunity to be on ESPN anyway.
Yeah, I'd say about the same thing that Jamie just said, and I know even as you go up in levels, like the WNHL, they're really paving the way for us as female athletes in hockey. And yeah, we want to see that spread across more sports as well, because like Jamie said, I think hockey, we're really fortunate in what we get in terms of sharing a college with your men's hockey team, especially for us because we're in the same facility. And I think they do a pretty good job of being pretty fair to us. Again, of course, in season, when grandma and grandpa want to watch on regular TV our games being played, you have to go on Flow Sports and things like that. But I think it's just so huge how it was on, the Frozen Four was on there, because yeah, like Jamie said, they wouldn't have had that before.
Now, this year, Minnesota State's men's team had a phenomenal run. So just talk about, as athletes at that school, how cool it was to see how far they did go.
It was really awesome to see them get their first win in the NCAA tournament. We didn't get to know them too well this year because of COVID. They were really in a bubble. But, I know of them. I see them at the rink. So it's really cool to see them succeed. And I know in past years, like, classes have gotten really close with the men's team. So, like, those are our friends, and not only that, but they're representing Mankato. So just that brings pride to us because they're showing other schools what Mankato can do, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough my freshman year to get to know quite a few of them pretty well. And it's really cool to see them progress, obviously, from their past years and be able to break the curse, per se, and make it into the into the game, the Frozen Four. I think that was like super cool for them. And obviously, like, I know a few of the guys. Two of them are Elk River natives, which is kind of cool. We share that bond in a sense. And it was just, yeah, like I said, you're proud of them because that's really cool. And I know that when they can, they support us. And it's just super nice to be able to share a facility with them and be able to have that connection with them because I know a lot of other teams don't have that.
Absolutely, and obviously they went on a historic run. I can't forget the guy's name, but he scored a bow down empty net goal to get them into like the championship game or something. So that was definitely one of the sickest things, and I know that went on every highlight reel ever. But
Yeah.
you guys were in season when the NHL came back, but if you guys have favorite teams, who are they, and how excited are you that hockey in the NHL is back every single night?
I really like Toronto Maple Leafs. I like Marner and Matthews. They're really fun to watch together. I think they're a dynamic duo. And then obviously like Connor McDavid, I love watching him. It's been fun watching the Wild lately because they're doing better than past years. So they're getting some wins, and Kaprizov?
Yeah.
He's insane. He's doing really good. I was just watching the game last night. Just something to do if you're bored, always good to watch hockey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with Jamie. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Minnesota Wild. It's our home turf. It's nice to see them playing well. And it was really cool to see Bukestad back in town because I had known he was at the Panthers before, I believe. And so it was really cool that he's back home in Minnesota now. And I know that's super cool for his Uncle Scott because we do a lot of work with him. And so it's kind of cool to talk to him about Nick, right? That's what it's Nick. His first name? Yeah. And then obviously, yeah, my favorite player has got to be McDavid. I mean, I love how he plays the game. And his speed is just incredible. It's so fun to watch. And then I'd say I'm an old-time Capitals fan. I've loved Ovechkin since I started watching hockey when I was like 5 with my dad. I've always been a fan of OV. I know he's getting pretty old now. And I love Trotzy. I wish he was still there, but I remember watching quite a few 60 Minutes with him and the Capitals, and I always just really liked them.
Now, if you guys were to pick a winner for the Stanley Cup this year, who do you think is going to come out on top of the NHL?
I got to stick with the Wild for Minnesota. I think if they could do it any year, it will be this year.
I mean, yeah, I think I have to agree because what have we always said? We said it with the Vikings and football too. You got to go with your home team. You got to cheer for them and hope that they do the best. And, this year they look really good. They look solid. I mean, we'll see how things go because, anything can happen in playoffs. But we're hoping for the Wild for sure.
Absolutely. Obviously, Minnesota has had some struggles in the past, and having Kaprizov and some of the other guys, they are really helping this year. I'm gonna have to go with Toronto as my pick. Hugely fan, but
I wouldn't be mad if they won.
Could be biased, but those deadline pickups they got are gonna really help them, I think. Now, something that came out on TikTok during March Madness, Sedona Prince was huge on the differences that the women's and men's basketball tournaments got in terms of food and equipment and stuff. So what do you guys think of that, and what do you think the NCAA could do better?
Yeah, I saw those TikToks come up on my page, and it kind of made me mad that NCAA thought they could get away with it and they wouldn't be called out on it. I think, I don't know, it's kind of a slap in the face. Like, you make it all the way to the NCAA tournament. There's so much hype around it. You're so excited to be competing. And then you see the men's side compared to the women's, and you're just like, it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like your sport is respected. And I think going forward, the NCAA needs to make those corrections before they get called out. You know, there shouldn't even be those differences, especially how drastic they were. I'm really happy that that girl called them out, though. I think it's a step in the right direction for change.
Yeah, I think we need more of that in other aspects too. I mean, obviously the NCAA, we have to call them accountable. Everyone has to remain accountable, and especially with so many other differences that have been going on, that was a really big thing. And I think that it's good that they were called out because you can't do much about it. Like now, seeing that, they can't go back to doing that. Otherwise, it would make things worse. And so I think it was kind of like a good change of direction for them to realize, like, okay, we can't be doing this, you know? Like, even though it shouldn't have been done in the first place, it's good that we're keeping each other accountable. And I think we need more of that in terms of differences between each other. Like, we're all the same. And it's good that people are beginning to voice their opinions on that, because I feel like in past situations, a lot of people remain silent and think that it'll change by not saying anything, but we need to use our voices. And so I think that that was crucial, how much that blew up on social media in terms of creating change.
And now here, before we wrap up, in May, the World Championships are coming back for women's up here in Canada in Halifax. So how excited are you to see USA Hockey compete for a 6th straight gold medal in that tournament?
I'm so pumped to see them and watch the games. I think it'll bring back a sense of normalcy to us. Obviously, they were canceled last year, so some girls missed out on their opportunity. So it'll be great to see them on the team this year, being able to get that opportunity again. So hopefully it'll be good hockey to watch, and I know I'll be checking in.
Yeah, I'm super excited as well, and I think it's so cool now that you get older and you've played with some of these girls and seen them play and had opportunities right beside them. It makes it all the more exciting to cheer them on because you know them and you've looked up to them, you know? And so I think that that's what makes it even more special, is to be like, okay, yeah, like I talked to her, I'm friends with her, and for her to win another gold medal, you know, it's us championing each other. And I think that that's what's so cool about the hockey community, is that we're all so connected, especially the girls from Minnesota. I know we all know each other, and it's so fun when we play against each other in college, when we see each other succeed. You see the camp list, and you're like, oh, hey, I know so-and-so, I know so-and-so. That's so cool. And I think that it makes it all the more exciting. And, yeah, it's a chance to play for your country. And who wouldn't want to cheer for USA if you're from US? I mean, unless you're Canadian or somewhere else. But
Absolutely. Well, it's been an honor chatting with you two today, being able to chat some college hockey. So I thank you both for coming on here, and we'll catch up with the both of you before your season start up in September again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
yeah, thank you.